we unpack all things friendship. I'm Allison,
And I'm Mia.
and we know adulting can make it so hard to stay connected. So we're here to help you navigate the sometimes challenging yet always rewarding world of friendships. So share this with a friend and let's dive in. Hey, friend.
Friend, how you been?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Let's not act like we didn't just spend Juneteenth together.
We did.
My friend is out here hosting, okay? Just the hostess with the mostest, doing all the beautiful things. I had never had a watermelon spritzer. Is that what? Refresher.
Refresher.
Oh, yes. She's so fancy. But it was nice. It was a good time. How did you feel hosting, doing all the things?
It was a good time. I do love to host. Sometimes I bite off more than I can chew, but in the end, it's always a good time. I end up having a good amount of folks at my house. But it was a good time. The kids had fun outside playing around in the grass, and we ate good. My childhood friend came over to grill, and yeah, it was a family affair. And yeah, we had like I tried to have like a bunch of red stuff. Apparently, you're not supposed to, but like that's a thing to have like red stuff. So like red drinks, like red pop, red soda, red. I had like watermelon refresher, so I like juiced a watermelon, blended a watermelon, strained it, added some stuff, put it back into the watermelon and stuff. Had like mint leaves and stuff, and a lot of they on Pinterest, per Pinterest and other sites, it says have like red velvet cake and tea cakes and other red desserts and just red stuff. We didn't have too much red, but we did have some good food though. We had some good food, and I was so proud of myself because I seasoned and marinated the chicken the night before, and everyone loved the chicken.
Yes, indeed. That chicken was so good. Stop talking about it. Like, I don't usually take to go, but today I'm gonna need that to go. And it was good the second day as well.
Let's talk about it was so good that we of course we had leftovers, but the most of the leftovers were like ribs. We had two kinds of ribs. My mom baked some ribs. She has the most incredible baked ribs. Oh my god, falling out the bone.
She just throw down.
And then my friend grilled some ribs. So we had a bunch of leftover ribs, but we didn't have a ton of burgers left over because he didn't get to the second pan. So Mia and I was like, well, we got this. We just gonna figure out how to grill up some stuff the next day. And I I called my friend, like, can you tell us how to finish off these? Like, what do you do? I'm on the phone taking mad notes. I'm talking about, hold on, Joe, let me write this down. I'm so excited to get back to Mia to tell her Joe just gave us all the rules. I get back home and sis got the grill going already. Cold, hot, sis is ready. I'm like, oh, okay, well, set aside my notes. How was your grilling experience? You was out there, girl. I said, well, sis, go forth.
Girl, what is so funny? There is a part of me that is like, I can figure that out. I mean, it's not that difficult. So you were gone, and I was like, let me straighten up. Burgers were sitting out. And I was like, well, maybe I could just at least get the coals going. I think I remember how to do that. Like, yeah. So I go out there, whoosh, flame going, and oh, this is gonna go much faster than I thought. And then I'm like, all right, I can do this. So then I go, and the burgers are not smashed; they're still in balls. I'm like, oh, there's still work to do. It was like a whole thing. And then I'm going back and forth, and it became like, oh, I'm like, okay, well, we're in here now. And what I have realized about myself is that I am used to cooking on the stove. So grilling, I'm like, all right, it's done. And it's like, no, it needs more time. Like grilling is, you just take your time.
Yeah.
And that's not my strength. I just sit and wait 20 minutes for a burger. So yeah, no, but it was a cool experience, kind of dusting off,
Yeah, it was
really,
a fun experience.
it
It was
was
a
funny.
fun experience.
And you were like, well, this is what he said to do. I was like, oh, okay. I'll do that next because his stuff was amazing. Just
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
so
What
yeah.
we talking about today, friend?
Yes, and hopefully everyone else celebrated Juneteenth and enjoyed it.
Yes.
But today we're talking about high maintenance friendships and low maintenance friendships. And I think we should just like define it for the people.
Okay.
Like your thoughts what would you consider like a high maintenance friendship?
Typically, I would consider a high maintenance friendship. Let me also say this. I have neutral feelings towards both. I don't think like, one's better than the other, but typically I think high maintenance friendships are those where there's more frequency in communication and more depth in interactions and how you communicate and all of the experiences. There tends to be more depth versus low maintenance where.
Because we deep, so we go in depth. So are we high maintenance? Is that automatic high maintenance?
But that's the thing though. This is where my original feelings about it, right?
Okay.
Like that's how I tend to think about it versus low maintenance, whereas typically surfacey, we catch up when we do. When we do catch up, we start, it's we just pick up where we left off. There are not as many expectations, and more than depth. Maybe what I was thinking about is more expectations. There are not as many expectations in low maintenance relationships. Like if you miss a birthday, no biggie. You can't make the trip, no biggie. Whereas in the high maintenance is like, where you at? That kind of thing. What about you? What do you? How would you define them?
I think for me, high maintenance in my mind is more like needy. So like the friend that is we need to talk every single day, or um it's just talk. It's like it's not nothing going on. But it's like we need to talk every day, or I need, your time, attention, your money, right? In some form, right? Um, and then when I think about low maintenance, it it kind of aligns with what you were saying, like not a lot of expectations. I don't need a lot from you. When we pick up where we left off. Everything is cool. We could go months without talking. No one's offended. Nobody's feelings are hurt. We could just keep it moving. That's how I originally thought about it.
Yeah, and there has been over the years. I've seen a pattern of like people online on social media talking about sort of like and praising those who are able to maintain low maintenance relationships. Like, we ain't gotta talk all the time and we ain't gotta do all that. Like just basically like you're doing too much. You're doing too much. And initially I thought like, well, y'all just don't want to be good friends. Like y'all just don't want to do what it takes to like actually show up as a real friend. Maybe, you have prioritized romance to the point that you don't recognize that all relationships require the same things, because, we wouldn't say that those things in regards to romance, right? So at first I was like, what y'all talking about? Like low maintenance ain't all that. That ain't where it's at. Like you need, you know what I'm saying, connection. My feelings are evolving though, because I think it's so nuanced and I think it's so layered. Because baby, let me tell you something.
Yes.
After this weekend, give me all the low maintenance.
Yeah, wait.
Let me tell you something. Again, like I was saying earlier, sometimes I bite off more than I can chew, and I did that this weekend. It was like Thursday, Juneteenth. I'm gonna host 15 to 25 people in my home, and I'm gonna do all these things, preparing food and cleaning and cooking and ripping and running, right? And then Friday, I'm gonna go to the beach with my friend because we need some alone time, and we have not gone to the beach in a while, so we're gonna go to the beach Friday early morning and stay all day, and then drive back to Dothan because Saturday I've got two more friends coming in town, and I'm gonna host them until Sunday, right?
Mhm.
Well, I didn't make it past Thursday because I was tapped out. I was tapped out. And I was really struggling, like, oh my God, I do not want to cancel our beach day because we haven't had one. Have we had a beach day all year?
No, we haven't.
We haven't had a beach day all year.
We haven't.
Not together.
Right.
And we haven't had a lot of alone time this year because we've got like group stuff going on, right? Um, but I just did not have it. And you were so chill. You knew before I knew that we're not going to the beach, sis. It's not gonna happen. And you were so chill. It wasn't like, well, this is what we scheduled, this is what we plan, so let's stick to it. You were like, no, I'm good. I'm good either way. Just go with the flow. I was like, oh, bless you. And we did nothing. We did nothing Friday. I'm talking about on the couch, eating watermelon and of course grilled the burgers and stuff. But we didn't do nothing. And then my other friends who came in Saturday, I was still tapped out.
Mm,
And they were like, friend, we don't want to do nothing but just chill. We just came out here just to chill. The most we went and got lunch at a food truck. While we waited on our food, we went into the grocery store called Piggly Wiggly. It's a southern grocery chain. They're from up north. They've never gone to a Piggly Wiggly. That was our adventure for the day. Going into this Piggly Wiggly and looking at these country brands or whatever, trying different country brands or whatever, like Golden Flake chips or Fago soda or random things in the store, right? And then we came back home and watched Netflix and talked and caught up. And I was just like, thank you. This low maintenance, I'll take this all day long. I appreciate. And again, what I was originally saying about the depth thing, we still had depth. Our conversations were still in depth, like we were talking about all kinds of stuff, right? But we just did they didn't require much of me. And I just really, really appreciate the flexibility. So yeah, I again it's nuanced, it's this and that weird. And what I'm finding is that every friendship can have moments and seasons of both. It
yeah.
doesn't just have to be one or the other. I talk a lot. What you think?
I think you're actually getting more into like alignment and more into um like being in sync, like being similar, right?
Yeah.
Because uh when first of all, when you told me the plan, I said, "Yes, do you think this is a lie?" Hey, we got this. And I was like, okay. So I already had in the back of my head, this is a lot. And I am driving in. So I don't want to do and wear my own self out. So like I don't want to be worn out. I gotta come back and be productive. I got things going on. You have more company to host. And so, like, it's like we're similar not only in our love language, but just similar in our like like, does this practically make sense? Even if
Right.
we want to do it, I'm not gonna stick to a calendar or, because we said we's gonna do it, we gotta go. Or is it worth the cost of going?
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
for me, baby, the way your couch is set up, okay, it is a beautiful place of rest also. So I'm like, if we rest, we both can be productive and give what we need to give to the next day. So we're really aligned that way. And then your other friend seems to be aligned as well, right? So it's just like, hey, I don't want anything that you don't have to get. I am not
Mm,
pull from you. I'm not going
mm.
to make you. I'm not going to require it from you because I have enough in me that I don't need it from you. I don't
You
require.
preaching. You preaching.
because
That's so good.
I know she good. Like I'm good either way. Like I don't need an event. I don't need any external factors. If I could just be in your presence, that's good enough for me.
Mm,
It's similar, right? Similarly, we have the same kind of thinking and the vibe. And I have friends who we couldn't do that.
yeah,
Have to go out. It's uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah.
So for me, it is, you're speaking more in terms of like alignment. And I do feel like that's how my definition has evolved into seeing, okay, high maintenance is when we're misaligned. It's when you're wanting something from
Mm,
me that I don't want to give right now in this season, or just who I am, period, or I don't have to give, right? And you're like requiring it. And then I'm trying to meet you on some level because you're my friend. I love you and I care. And so now it becomes like a decision that I have to make every time. Like, okay, am I going to do this? Or that, which means I'm going to have to put on a little bit because I don't really want to, but I'm trying to be a friend for you as well as for me. And so now it feels high maintenance. Now,
hmm.
when you call, I'm not always excited because you require things of me that I don't always have to give.
That's so good. It's high maintenance will sometimes require from you what you don't have the capacity, but when it's aligned,
Yeah.
we won't even ask for it. There's no forcing. It's just good.
The best example, because I remember I had a friend and she was like, hey, it's time for us to catch up again. And I was like, is it? I'm looking at the calendar like, no, we just talked 2 weeks ago. We don't have to talk. Another 2 weeks is fine. I don't have any, new breaking news for you. And she's like, no, we need to catch up. I'm like, okay. Now, I don't know if we've gone 2 weeks without talking.
Girl, you go let you go 2 weeks.
I,
We have,
uh, she don't love me no more.
why don't you love me? What did I do?
Yeah, we don't go 2 weeks. It's like, hey, we gotta catch up, and it's easy.
Yeah, it's a rhythm. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so yeah, and I like that word rhythm. I feel like we're on the same rhythm, and when
Mhm.
we're in that high maintenance kind of relationship, I'm like, we're not in the same,
Yeah.
because you over
The,
here needing this, and I'm over here not.
that alignment thing is so real because maybe none of this is about high versus low. Maybe it's all simply about alignment. Um yeah, because what's hard for me in some relationships is so easy in others. It's like, and this again, back to what you're saying, is alignment.
Yeah,
Alignment. Because when you're aligned, even the hard stuff just feels easy. Even the heavy stuff is not heavy to carry. It's just this is what we do. And that this friendship has taught me that, and it continues to teach me that over and over and over. It's like this isn't inconvenient for me. This isn't hard. It isn't hard to show up. It isn't hard to maintain this friendship. It just isn't hard
yeah,
because of alignment.
yeah. And when you have that alignment, I think also what comes with that is like this grace for it, right?
Yeah,
So it's interesting, the seasons and the phases and how they change, right? In terms of, you need a little bit more in this season, or I need a little bit more, and then it's in that time, it's like, well, you know what, everything's good over here, so
yeah,
take a little bit more. Like if you need to lean a little bit more, that's
hmm,
fine. And then if I need to lean a little bit more,
yeah,
everything's good on your end, and so you're like, I got capacity, so you can lean a little bit more. So that's also interesting how that alignment creates the capacity and the grace to carry
yeah.
for each other.
Speaking of grace, how do you think different seasons of life impact the level of maintenance, the maintenance level in friendships? Just different things happen in life, whether that's parenthood, or new relationships or new career or new place to live, like how do you think those things impact a friendship regarding maintenance level, and how can we, I guess, make sure our needs are still being met? Friends are still meeting each other's needs in the midst of those changing maintenance levels.
Yeah, I think it depends on the friendship and the impact, right? So, like, sometimes a move is great. And so I don't necessarily need a lot because I'm exploring, I'm doing all the fun things. But sometimes a move is not great. Like, I had to move. There were, like, dire circumstances and a big transition in life. And so the move is just necessary part of that. And so I'm probably still needing more. So I think it depends on like the impact of the change, and then also what that person needs in that change and what that looks like. What I have learned, even being so independent, um, I have learned that there are times where you actually just need your friend, you know, and to be open and honest about that in those seasons of like, hey, I need more presence this season. Like, I need, like, that's the season I'm in right now. I need presence. And so when you're like, oh, I'm not coming to Atlanta, that's not a problem. Not a problem at all. I'll be there in Alabama. I'll be there, right? So it's like, because like that's just the season I'm in. And so I think it's just being honest with what you need in that season, communicating that to your friend.
Yeah.
Your friend can meet that. I have another friend, she asked me specifically, what do you need from me in this season? And I told her, and then she gifted me something because that's her love language of something that I can use every day to just encourage me and remind
Mhm.
me who I am. And so it's just, it- it's funny how different friendships show up in different ways for you, but that's
Yeah.
why I love having different types of people because they love you differently in their way. And then it's still like, it just, satisfies
Yeah.
the quality of who you are. That's my take on it.
Yeah. You saying all of that made me think about this piece is sometimes it is just that simple. It's just having effective and thorough communication, asking the question like, hey, what do you need from me? In this season, as seasons are changing, what do you need? How do you need me to show up? Because sometimes it's not that we're misaligned. Sometimes we just haven't done the work to get in line. Sometimes it's the right person that you're friends with. You don't need to throw them away. It's just a matter of, having the necessary conversations to get there. And then it becomes easier, right? Like, oh, if I just knew that you needed that, I could give you that easily. Sometimes we just don't know. And that's the thing too. Sometimes I think we take for granted that everyone just has this knowing, like how to be a friend and how to be a friend to a specific person. It's just not that simple all the time. You and I got really lucky because we just so happen to have the exact same love languages.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's not always just common knowledge that everyone knows how to be a good friend. And unfortunately, I've learned that the hard way. Like, oh, this is not your strength. It's not your strong friendship. Isn't your strong point, huh? Great person, solid character, but my God.
Um, I think what is, I think challenging too, because I would imagine that you and I probably attract those people who are go getters and those people who are, um, you know, breaking generational curses in their family. And so we're not used to being vulnerable. We're not used to anyone wanting to carry,
Yeah.
really caring about how you feel because you're the one everyone comes to. And so when you have real friends, I do think it's important for you to actually open up and express what it is you need. And even if you don't know what you need, even saying that is saying something, right?
Yes.
I know I need more of something in this season. Um, I don't know what it is, friend. When I do, I'll let you know. And when you have a real friend who are similar to you, we're not gonna get off this phone until we figure it out. Or we'll try different things and see how's that feeling. How do you feel? Like, does that work for you? Did that really, help, you in this season? So I do think it's important, and the onus is on you to truly open up so that someone can meet your needs. Someone can show up for you. Someone can love you in a new and a different way. But it does take you being a responsible person to express what it is that you need.
Yeah. Um, I'm thinking about some. I'm thinking about this in terms of pop culture and even like series. So one of my favorite shows ever is Girlfriends, and I
Yes.
think that they have between the four of the friends, Joan, Maya, Lynn, and Tony. They have all so many dynamics playing out at once, right? What do you think? What would you call Joan's approach to friendship in general? Would you think it's more low or high maintenance?
Joan is definitely high maintenance in the best beautiful way. Because she will tell you what it is she wants. She will tell you her expectations, and she will tell you what she needs. So I think Joan specifically is high maintenance. Um, and I resonate with Joan. Let me just say that.
I do too. And I just want to take this moment to reframe neediness. We simply have needs, okay?
Sit, come in.
We are human beings who have relational needs. And again, back to alignment. When you state those needs, again, assuming that you've done the work to make sure that you're not being codependent and that you don't have all these trauma responses, but when you state your needs to your people who are aligned, it's that they be happy to meet them. And if they can't, they'll let you know. And then you get to choose, right? So yes, Joan had lots of needs. It doesn't make her needy. It just means, and high maintenance is not, necessarily a bad thing. She did take a little bit extra to maintain the friendship with her.
No, I love how you break down each of the relationships. So talk about that because I remember you.
Okay, so specifically, Joan and Tony's relationship, I believe, was a bit more high maintenance, and it could be because they had known each other for so long. They were childhood friends, and I believe because of that, Joan had more expectations from Tony versus she did from Lynn or from Maya.
Mhm.
Maya in general, I think, was just a low maintenance girl. She had a lot going on. She had a marriage on the rocks. She has, she eventually became a single parent. You know what I'm saying? She your round the way girl. Like, I'm not doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show up when I show up. That's gonna be that. So very low maintenance. Lynn, I think, was similar, because again, Lynn did have a lot going on. But more than a lot going on, she just was just go with the flow, very like, what are we doing today? Wherever the earth, moon, and stars take me, that's what we'll be doing. And while she leaned on her community heavily, I don't know that she was a high maintenance girly. Tony, while Tony, I believe, is high maintenance in general, I'm just thinking about her friendships because in her romantic relationships, she certainly was high maintenance. Would you consider that she also required a lot from her friends?
I think so, but Tony wouldn't communicate. Tony didn't know she was not as self aware enough.
Jesus.
Was I being kind? She was not self aware enough to like express what she truly needed. So she was very like passive aggressive, like saying little comments where you have to figure it out. Um, and I think we all just need to acknowledge those areas in our life. And if you are that person, to just be honest with what
Yeah.
you need.
Just be honest because otherwise, because otherwise we end up placing this unspoken pressure on people, and it
Yeah,
leads us to be disappointed and resentful, and it's like that's not really fair.
it's
Because,
not.
yeah, so just speak your needs. And again, when you see that those needs can't be met by these people because they lack the capacity or the ability or desire to meet them, then you have the option, but we don't get to control and manipulate people. Like, no, well, you must do this. Because, like, Joan was a trip, because, again, that's my girlie, that was my girlie. But sis is just like, they don't want to do this, like, holidays. Because she was the ultimate host, right? Every holiday she gonna do the party for Christmas, Halloween, whatever. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is holiday time. Holiday time. Like she was all in, and she demanded that they show up in the way that she desired because it was her holidays were her priority. And while that's cool, give people the option because they told you they don't want to learn these songs. They don't want to learn these Christmas carols. They don't know it. And she would get so upset that they wouldn't show up. Like, why don't you know your parts? Because they don't care, Joan. They don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, she did demand a lot, but it's like even that is you could she could have increased in her self awareness too. Because mighty God,
Yeah.
she certainly is a mirror for me.
I think we could all see ourselves in one of them. One
Certainly,
of them, like at certain times.
certainly.
Oh,
I in very little ways resonate with Lynn. Like we don't have too much in common. Lynn was such a free spirit,
yeah.
and I've never been a go with the flow person. But outside of that, um, yeah, I can relate to all of them in some way or another.
Yeah. Can we
Um,
go low maintenance? Because I did encounter someone that made me think about how she was defining low maintenance because she was not interested in being vulnerable. And she said this, like she wasn't interested in like investing in that way in a friendship. So she's like, I'm the low maintenance friend and was proud of that. But she was proud of that because she wasn't willing to do the work and willing to like really show up. And I really think, the I just want to champion sisterhood. I mean, obviously if you're watching this, you're hopefully even thinking about navigating sisterhood. But I think one of the most powerful things in sisterhood is vulnerability, is doing the work for yourself and is showing up so that, because I remember someone asked us one time about like, our disagreements or how we argue. And I'm like, I think we're so like open to like, what is it that you see? And let me consider that versus I'm going to sit up and argue with you. Like,
yeah,
I'm not doing that.
yeah.
that.
I
Like,
couldn't imagine it. I couldn't
you
imagine it.
can imagine it. It's just like I trust you too much. You can see what I can't see. You sit on the outside, I'm on the inside. Like there's so many reasons. And I think to fight, like I don't even know. Like I love girlfriends, but that part of it, I'm like, I am not gonna fight like that with my friends.
Yeah, that is something I've never understood, and I do. So, disclaimer: I did, I did learn. Was it early this year or late last year that I have an avoidant attachment style? So, I'm like, well, is it that I don't argue because I'm avoiding something? I'm like, I don't know. But I have just never been that girl. Like I do not understand the friends who can cuss each other out, fight and bicker, and then 2 weeks later they're just like, all right, well, where we going? I'm like,
Uh-uh.
uh.
Uh,
Now that's high maintenance. Call me low maintenance all day because I'm not doing that.
that's toxic. I
That
feel
yeah, that's a whole other kind of friendship, and I have no interest in maintaining one of those.
at all. At all.
Okay,
So, friend, have you ever felt like the high maintenance friend, or you were that high maintenance friend?
yeah. Yeah, which is why I used to like be getting like a little. My feelings hurt when I was his post. Like, like I can't do that high maintenance, like low maintenance for me. I'm like, well, I be needing the phone calls, not every day, but on a semi regular basis. I want check ins. I want people to check on me and say, hey, what's up? Just thinking about you. Like, yeah. So because of those reasons, I have felt like have been a high maintenance friend. But it depends though, because I'm more so speaking about like the closest people to me, right? Because I've never had those expectations for the friendships I've been able to maintain over the years that have never been consistent in regards to frequency, or I've always had friends that I can go months without talking to and we just pick right back up. So I'm more so specifically talking about those friends that are closest to me, like you. I have certainly felt how man it's like I be needing y'all.
We need you.
So certainly. What about you?
No, but I feel like I was on the other end of like I'm the low maintenance friend. I don't need you. I don't need nobody. You know, it was bad. It was toxic, but it was more so because um I've never had it. I had never had it. And that's not what friendship looked like to me before.
Yeah.
And so most of my childhood friendships and things like that, it was proximity. And we just
Hmm.
so when you get older and you go deeper and you learn more about life and learn more about yourself, um, when it was time to connect, I thought that was only for male female relationships. I didn't think that was for female relationships.
Yeah.
I kept everything surface. So I always prided myself in being I'm the low maintenance friend till life hit me upside the head multiple times. And my friends was like, "Girl, why you ain't say nothing?" And I was like, "Oh, like that's how that works." I didn't know. Thought I was supposed to just shoulder it all and be Superwoman.
Yeah. Can we can we talk about that just for a minute though? How we think we're doing people a favor by
Child,
not letting them in.
let's talk about that.
It's like I'm not it doesn't relieve me to know that my friend has been carrying this load or a burden unnecessarily when I was right there available. It doesn't relieve me knowing that she considered me in a way to like not burden me. Like that's not I think it's completely unfair, and it's honestly insulting, that I wouldn't be if I'm a friend that I wouldn't be trusted to help you. It's like let me be a friend. Like if it was just for kicks and giggles, I'm not here just for wings and pizza and movies, like I'm here for life, and life has ups and downs, like life has ebbs and flows and curves and hills and valleys, and I'm here for it all. So when you don't give me the opportunity to be a friend, I'm offended.
Yeah.
Because it's like you ain't got to do that. Like it's why we were created for connection, and you missing your blessing. You know what I'm saying? Because you over here just like thinking you got it all together, and it's like since you're struggling, and I'm here in La La Land having no idea, being ignorant to the fact that you're shouldering all of this. So yeah, I think we oftentimes believe we're protecting our friends from us. And I'm preaching to the choir. We're protecting our friends from us when really it's like, no, no. It honestly can be more damaging to a connection.
Well, and it's funny in the specific situation I'm thinking about that happened with me. I remember thinking, "Well, what would you have done?" I said,
Mm,
"I said you couldn't do anything. Like, um, I'm not asking you to for money. I'm not asking you for like to do something. So, like, what would you have done?" And it's like I didn't even cognitively understand that even sharing the emotional load, right, would have benefited me, right? And then my friend told me, she's like, well, you stripped me of the opportunity to show you,
Mm,
right? And that thing has stuck with me. This is, I don't know, 10 years, 10, 12 years later, and it still sticks with me because it's like, man, that's where depth, that's where trust, that's where all of those things are built in
that's
those.
where intimacy is built.
True intimacy is built. And baby, I miss that opportunity. And I think about that a lot. It's like, because because there is one instance of like, I don't want to share, but because I don't want to be a burden, but also I'm like, I don't want to share because what you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah,
just gonna be there,
yeah.
and you need that. And
Right.
I underestimated how much I needed that, or how
Yeah.
much it would have really benefited me.
Mm-hmm. Because sometimes it is true. We just need someone to sit with us. We can't do nothing but just sit here, be a listening ear, a shoulder to lean on. Just, I'm just here. I can't do nothing but just watch this show with you. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Share this popcorn with you. Like, I can't do nothing but my presence alone or their presence alone is the difference. It is so powerful.
It is so powerful, and especially when you open yourself up and
Yeah.
allow yourself to not shoulder it all, to have a moment of like, this is a lot, and for someone to say, yes, it is a
It
lot,
is.
or yes, it is unfair, and you'd be like, oh, so yeah, yeah, that's my moment. That's my moment.
That leads me to ask this. How do you communicate when you are emotionally unavailable to your friends, but you still want to maintain a bond?
Yeah, I feel like I've gone through this recently, where
I know for sure you went through it with me, child.
you want to talk about it?
Shall I ask you? Because I ain't want to answer because my answer is I don't communicate.
That's the old truth, but you want to tell the
You
people.
know, growth. What the kids do? What the kids do?
Oh my god.
Oh man, yeah. I used
Uh
to check
huh.
out and shut down and just isolate, go in my little igloo, and or hibernate in a cave and come back out when the sun is shining again. And I had learned. I mean, I was just talking about it. We think that we're protecting people from us, and that's not what had happened. Um, so yeah, and more than that, what I've learned is I wasn't able to let my friends in because I didn't know either how to navigate my own emotions. I didn't know what to do with them. So it's like I don't know what to do with them. What you going what you going I don't even know how to name it. So I can't even tell you what's going on. I don't know. um so yeah, that has definitely been a struggle in the past. But what I've learned is again what I just said, which is let them in. And sometimes that is saying, I don't really know what's happening right now. I just know that things are different. I feel different. I feel low. I may not show up the same, but I still value this friendship. I still want to be around. I still want you to be around me. And we can just figure it out and ride this wave until things get better.
Yeah. Well, because there was a time you did do it, so I don't. It must have been because I do remember a time when you're like, "This happened," you know,
Yeah.
and this is heavy. We rocked it out together,
We made it.
baby. Because this ain't heavy no more. Okay,
Yeah. Oh, light as a feather. Oh.
yeah, hot time,
Ta-ta-ta.
baby. A season is just a season,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
And
better.
yeah. And we're worthy of friends that will weather the seasons with us.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
Yeah.
are. And I think I just I don't know. I get a little weepy every time we do these podcasts because of the love of friendship and like how it has given me what I didn't have, right? Because I keep thinking about like why was I like that, and it was like because you never had it before. You didn't, because when you're the one, you don't have people who care about you. Oh, I'm sorry. They care about you, but it looks very different.
Yes.
Um than it does in real friendships that see you, support you, and want to love you in a very healthy, supportive way. But I also think just as a way, and I don't know if my friends, because I'm thinking about my recent experience, and I have friends who like I just kind of be like, yep, I'm going through some changes. Like I just went through like my December. Like I'm going through something heavy, and I remember my real friends reach out. So I'm not doing a lot of the reach outs during that time unless like an implosion happens again. But more so, it's the broadcast. Like there are shifts, major shifts happening right now, and letting them know. And so I may not be as festive, or I may not be, but I'm not depressed. I'm processing, right? Like I'm just needing some time, and then they'll just say, "Hey, friend, checking on you. You good?" Just every once in a while. So it gives me the space that I need because I'm very much an internal processor. But then also gives me the support that I need. Like it's like a hand on your shoulder, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
just here if you need me."
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
So beautiful.
What's talk about friendships that we wish we had handled a little bit differently.
Mm. I think I pretty much have said the one because thankfully this particular friendship is still in my life. Um but I do think that I could have shown up differently. Had I known, right? So again, she was the one who checked me, boo, who was just like, and then also in ways that she needed me to be there in those ways to meet her needs, because our love languages are very different,
Mhm.
and we're very different people. Like she's very extroverted, I'm very introverted. Like we're like complete opposites. So, and like gifts is like one of her number one. It's like the last thing on my list. So it takes for me a little bit more effort to love her in the way that she deserves or desires. Um, and so for me, that's just one friendship that I always think about, how I'm showing. Like it's a cognitive, like how do I show up here? And
Yeah.
make sure I'm doing that differently. So that's the one I'm thinking about.
One friendship doesn't come to mind. I think of just several, just how I navigated friendship, how I navigated sisterhood in general,
Mm,
prior to exploring myself deeper and coming to understand myself deeper. I had very little capacity for people's emotions. If it wasn't happiness, joy, peace, contentment, I didn't know what to do with it. And I was like, you got too much. All that sadness stuff. I mean, and what's crazy is I'm a highly sensitive person. Like, I cry at the drop of a dime. I cry at commercials, child. So, like, I don't know why I just didn't have the capacity. Well, I know why, trauma, but that's, we talked about that already. Go watch the previous episode. But I did not extend as much grace and compassion. I really, really didn't. And I'm so thankful that that several of my friends have crossed over with me into this phase of life where I'm a bit more emotionally aware and emotionally mature. So, yeah, I think just in general, I would have handled people in a way where I led with more curiosity first to understand them and why their needs were so different than mine. And I hope I do that with all of my friendships today. But yeah, I just, in general, had limited capacity. So that's something I would handle differently for sure. Because I know that there were times where people left my presence feeling a little bit uncomfortable or maybe even shame, honestly. And in some instances I have had the opportunity to go back and correct or go back and apologize and go back and make things right in that way. And I'm again thankful for the grace extended to me in those areas. But there are some that, they just went by the wayside for, a variety of reasons, including my limited capacity and my lack of grace and compassion. So that's certainly something I would have done differently.
Do you feel like you have space for new friends?
Yes. Well, yes. Well, here's here's what I'm processing.
Yeah.
I desire new friends because I lack proximity with my closest friends. Like all of my friends are everywhere. Literally everywhere. From the East Coast to the West Coast. Literally. And I just really want closer friendship in my city where we can just go grab lunch or go do nothing together. I go over their house and we just sit and do nothing, or vice versa. They come help me, fold clothes. I go over there and help them watch their baby. Like whatever it is, it's like just an everydayness to it
Yeah.
that I just don't have because of proximity. So I desire that. The capacity question is something that I need to sit with. Do I have room for it? That was your question, right? Do I have room for it? Yeah. I have to come back to that. I do know this though that I am in a phase of developing new friendships. Like there are a couple of new friends I have, but what I recently noticed though is they've all remained at this like entry phase, and I'm like, why haven't we gone beyond this phase? And I'm like, is it me? Have I not just been open to it? Which goes to your question: do I have room for this? So I'm actually actively processing that, the tension between my desire for new friendships and do I have room for it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good place, like to know what you have capacity for. Um, there's room in the end for me, as well. I think for me, I desire the closeness as well. I think I've, been living here for a while now.
And you just refuse to move to Alabama, so I don't know what to do with that. Like, sis, we could really solve this problem.
So yeah, we'll see. It's kind of cute over there.
Pray about it.
Y'all be praying. But yeah, no, I'm definitely have some capacity for it. I think just to round out, some of the
Yeah,
areas, right? Because we need different types of friendships, and so
yeah,
I would love to round out some of the other
yeah.
areas, some blind spots that I have. I mean, Allison and I are so much alike. Like it's crazy when I come over your house and like you have the same Tupperware or you have the
Literally.
you literally have the same like bathroom curtain. I'm like, how does this happen? Your Amazon is the same as my Amazon, like so. Yes, I need variety.
We should have that conversation soon. We should do an episode about, just what it looks like for your closest friends to have other friends and how we feel about that. Because
Yes, let's do that. I
like,
would,
what are the rules? What are the guidelines for these new people?
I love that.
Who are they? Where are they from? Do they come with a resume and a background check?
Do I approve?
Right, right. Because that is a thing, though. I'm playing, but that is a thing.
That is a thing. I have heard people say that.
Yeah, people start to feel a way about that kind of stuff. So I think that would be something really, really great to navigate in conversation. Ultimately, though, y'all, at the end of the day, the strength of a friendship isn't defined on how much you talk, when you talk, how much you need from each other, but ultimately it is defined by love and grace and mutual respect and understanding that you extend to each other through every season of life. So, yeah, man. What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, make sure that you are expressing what it is you truly need from those that are around you. I am praying that you guys find safe spaces and people to love you and to confide in, because remember that a sweet friendship refreshes the soul.
Bye, y'all.